Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm your coach, your host, David On Point Hoppin. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Israel Rivera, should be here momentarily as we're going to be breaking down 2023 NFL free agency preview, talk about some of the more key names that are going to be available on the market there. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast if you have not already. We go live basically every single day, bringing you the most up-to-date content. And I know we're running a little bit late today. That is completely my fault. I was at the gym playing basketball, and all of a sudden it was like 9 o'clock, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, I got to go somewhere. I got to go. And, yeah, I had to drive home as fast as I could. I took like a 3-second shower, and here I am, ready to host the podcast for you guys today. What's up, TJ?
So I took a 3-second shower. Like, don't admit that.
It was about a minute and a half.
Don't admit that either.
I've gotten the minute and a half shower down, like where you could just take care of the business and then get out. Like you don't have to be in there a long time. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
And like you just get in there, take care of what you got to take care of, and then you get out. It's pretty straightforward. But let's get into NFL free agency. Some marquee names available in NFL free agency, and this is one of those weird years of NFL free agency because players are like agreeing to deals without before even negotiations is allowed. I'm not really sure what the protocol is. Also, welcome into the show, CEO Prime Sports World, Mr. Israel Rivera. Welcome to the show.
Nobody's gotten in trouble for it. So
I know. I must be the only one that cares about this stuff because Derek Carr signed a deal, but I didn't think you could even negotiate with free agents until Monday.
Hold on. Is your grown ass drinking the juice box?
Hey man, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And if you do happen to miss us live, I have shared the streaming platforms that we're also on. So continue to check us out over there. I've also shared the StreamYard link into all of the places. So if you want to join and talk a little NFL free agency, you're welcome to do so. Let's start with the most important position in football. Let's talk about them quarterbacks. And there's the top 10 in no particular order who are, quote unquote, the top 10 free agent quarterbacks. What do you guys think about this list? I have put asterisks next to Derek Carr because he has signed with the New Orleans Saints, quote unquote, signed with the New Orleans Saints. Lamar Jackson has been non-exclusively tagged by the Baltimore Ravens. And Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants agreed to a 4-year, $160 million. Let's talk about Derek Carr and the Saints. What do you guys think about that fit for Derek Carr and New Orleans Saints, given the weapons there, given the defense that he's going to have, finally, a good defense? I mean, he's really never really played with a good defense at any point.
He's never had a good defense.
So what do we think about Derek Carr and the Saints?
Obviously, he's the best quarterback in that division now by far. We don't even know who's quarterbacking the other three teams.
It's true. I think it's going to be Desmond Ridder in Atlanta, but
it's probably going to be it's probably going to be Desmond Ridder in Atlanta. But we don't know who's quarterbacking for the Panthers. We don't know who's quarterbacking for the Buccaneers.
I think it's going to be what's his name? Matt Corral.
And Tampa?
Yeah. No, in Kyle Trask, probably. I don't know.
Well, either way, it's not good. It's not a good place to be. If they keep Michael Thomas, then all systems go.
I mean, even if they don't, they still have some nice weapons there. I don't expect Alvin Kamara to play this season at all, or very little.
My bad, Joe. I just ate a whole piece of sushi in front of the whole world. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
No, I wasn't paying attention.
Do you know how many times I've eaten food on this podcast?
I literally always wait until after the shows to eat dinner. So
no, God, no. If I'm hungry, I'm eating. I'm sorry.
I'm hungry as hell right now.
So top 10 free agent quarterbacks. I love your list. Daniel Jones just got paid. Lamar Jackson. I hope a team gives him an offer that Baltimore cannot cash in. If you know what I'm saying, that they can't match. Yeah,
Well,
that
I
they
mean,
can't
they
match.
they wouldn't have the opportunity even to match. I don't
They
think.
want.
I
No,
don't
they have-
100% know.
No, they do.
No,
They do.
they do.
They got the
Oh,
opportunity to
okay.
match, or they want 2 first-round picks
If they don't match it.
Also, Geno
they
Smith
don't
should be
match
on
it.
this list. I made this list pretty late last night, so I forgot that he signed, and he should be on this
Love
list. As well,
Geno.
Geno Smith.
Yeah, I love Geno. I think Jacoby Brissett. Godly. I mean, we were just talking about this team. Oh man, I can't remember what team we were talking about where Jacoby Brissett would be perfect on, like Arizona. He'll be perfect.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
mean,
know what I'm saying, like a
he'd
stopgap
be the
bridge quarterback. Where
for Kyler Murray. I think that would make a lot of sense. Same with
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, all those guys. Marcus Mariota, even Carson Wentz makes a little bit of sense there.
Oh yeah. No, Carson Wentz makes a ton of sense there. Godly, who has Carson Wentz been linked to?
Man,
Nobody so far.
Nobody has talked about Carson Wentz.
Nobody
but yeah,
so
he's-
far.
No, I swear I heard somebody on Twitter. One of these guys. I'll go ahead and find it somewhere. But yeah, somebody was talking about Carson Wentz being linked to some type of team. Whether I know Aaron Rodgers has been linked to the Jets, but if they couldn't get Aaron Rodgers, the Jets were probably talking about getting Carson Wentz or something like that.
Can you imagine trying to sell that to the fan base? Like you thought you'd have Derek Carr, you thought you'd have Aaron Rodgers, you get Carson Wentz instead.
And
Like I think that'd be a tough sell. They went all in on Aaron Rodgers. Like they basically told Derek Carr, like, "Hey, we're gonna kick the tires on Aaron Rodgers." That's basically why he ended up in New Orleans.
And they for sure thought they had Derek Carr to the Jets. Like they thought that was a done deal. And then like a thief in the night, hey, I'm going down to the Big Easy because I can.
That's the team I'm thinking about, guys. Tampa Bay. Somebody said Tampa Bay.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, they still have a somewhat of a championship window still open, and if they want to try to get another title, they need somebody who's got experience. Kyle Trask is going to bring that to them, unless they're going to blow it up entirely, trade everybody away. I'll have the players on this list to the quarterback position. Who do you think is the most interesting?
It's Lamar. It's Lamar. Lamar is getting ready to dictate the next quarterback. Like he's getting ready to dictate the new market.
And the New York Giants did literally no teams that are in the quarterback market a favor by giving a guy who's had basically one serviceable season $40 million a year.
I don't get it.
I don't understand. Like I would have tagged him and signed Saquon Barkley instead of doing what they did. I don't understand. Like you have one, he was basically only startable for 1 year, and now he's going to be making $40 million. That's crazy to me. Also, Geno Smith's contract is less than that, and he was by far better than Daniel Jones. And the Seattle Seahawks are like playing chess right now, like for real. Like they're opt out. They potentially still could draft a rookie quarterback in this year's draft, and if the top 5 they wanted to, because Geno Smith's money only becomes like partially guaranteed every season after this one. Like they're just playing the GM game better than most teams in the NFL right now. Like, which sounds shocking to me because Seattle was one of the worst run teams for a while.
It's only looking that way right now because everything has turned out in their favor, right? Can you imagine if they didn't have the season they had? Can you imagine you traded Russell Wilson?
100%. I mean, you get lucky sometimes.
That's what it was. They got lucky.
Yeah, they got lightning in a bottle.
They hit. Basically, and they just trying to reap the benefit of it. I said this last off season when they signed DK Metcalf to his contract extension. By the time DK Metcalf's a free agent, Jamar Chase is going to be up for a new deal. Justin Jefferson is going to be up for a new deal.
Right? They're going to have to make some kind of decision on Tyler Lockett next offseason. So,
and I'm pretty sure they're probably going to keep him. So. Yeah.
We'll see. Let's go through the list real quick. So, obviously you have Derek Carr. Where do you think Lamar Jackson ends up as we go through the list? Let's rapid fire. Lamar Jackson, where's he playing in 2020 next season?
Jackson, I think Lamar Jackson stays in Baltimore.
Well, we talked about this the other day. I said the Jets to try and go and get him.
The Jets or the Dolphins, depending on Tua's status.
I'm going to go out on a super way far limb, and I'm going to say he ends up in Indianapolis.
5 teams have already set their route on Lamar Jackson, which I don't understand. So, but
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say Indianapolis. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Colts.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Raiders.
that sounds like a Colts.
That sounds like a Colts move.
Raider. I'm going Raiders. Marcus Mariota.
Oh
Shit,
no,
back to Tennessee.
Arizona.
Arizona.
is good, too.
I'll go Arizona. Baker Mayfield.
Stays in LA.
I actually like that for him to stay in LA. You know, we don't know Matthew Stafford's health and all of that good stuff. If he's going to be 100% next year,
I'll go Tampa Bay. Teddy Bridgewater.
Retires.
big Teddy Bridge.
No, I'm just playing. That was their I think he stays in Miami.
I think he goes to Chicago.
I think he stays in Miami.
I was gonna say, man, David. I was gonna say either stays in Miami or goes to Chicago or Cleveland. I said that because I think Jacoby Brissett will probably end up in like Arizona or something.
Sam Darnold.
There's a market for Sam Darnold. No, I'm just playing.
Wow. I don't know.
I'm gonna say Sam Darnold, Houston.
Where he at Carolina, he stays there.
I don't know. I have no idea. So
I have no idea. I'm gonna say Houston.
I think Joe Burkett ends in Arizona, like Izzy said. Moving on to wide receivers, there's the list on there: Juju, Allen Lazard, Jacoby Myers, Darius Slayton, Mac Hollins, Mikael Hardman, Marvin Jones Jr., Amade Zaccheaus, Nelson Aguilar, and Noah Brown. If you don't know Noah Brown, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. Most interesting name on this list:
Juju. Juju's an enigma. Like, no, seriously, like Juju is an enigma. He's, in my opinion, I think he should be way better than what he is. And for that being said, I think he stays in Kansas City. I don't see him leaving. I don't see him leaving that situation because it benefited him. Right? Outside of the obvious, right? Like outside of the obvious, like he won the championship, he was finally able to play with a quarterback who was able to get him the ball on a consistent basis. He only had 1 year of good Big Ben.
Yeah, that's true.
And then he kind of.
I think the most interesting name on this list is Mikael Hardman. Actually, I think because I think he has immense upside. I just don't think he has ever really gotten that full potential because he's always been over, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. He spent a lot of time injured last season. I think if you can get good Mikael Hardman, I think he could be the best wide receiver on this list.
I'm actually gonna agree. I'm actually gonna agree with TJ on this one to go Juju. I do think Juju does actually stay in Kansas City. Why would he leave? I mean, it's the first time. Yeah, why would you leave? I mean, you had pretty much your best year in like 4 years in Kansas City. You won a Super Bowl. You're playing with probably arguably the best quarterback in the league. Not arguably, is the best quarterback in the league.
Right.
And why would you leave that playing for arguably the best coach in the league in Andy Reid? Why would you leave that?
Money.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason. But
right.
we've seen Juju like out of a system, like in terms of when he was in Pittsburgh, we could say, he had one good year of Big Ben, but it was really because Antonio Brown was getting all the attention, and Juju was able to work on those third and fourth guys on the defense.
Under the radar wide receiver on this list, do you think it's somebody
Marvin Jones
is going to sign with a new team and be super underrated?
Marvin Jones,
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers. I'll agree with you, Jacoby Myers. He's a jack of all trades wide receiver. He can do a little bit of everything. Jacoby Myers.
It's Marvin.
So rapid fire. Ready? Rapid fire.
I love Marvin Jones. Though.
Where does Juju Smith-Schuster play in 2023?
Kansas City.
Chicago. Allen Lazard.
Where's he at now?
Chicago.
Green Bay.
I think he stays there.
He already from what he was talking about after the last
he follows Aaron Rodgers to the Jets.
Okay.
Jacoby Myers.
Sounds great.
Jacoby Myers.
New England would be stupid to not re-sign him.
Tennessee.
I will agree with you.
I'm going. He stays in New England.
Darius Slayton.
Giants.
He's already there, so he resigned to the Giants.
Giants. He stays there.
I'm gonna go Darius Slayton, Tennessee. I like that.
I'll go
like
Giants
that.
as well. I think he stays there. I think the loyalty there. They believed in him since they drafted him. Mac Hollins, currently a Las Vegas Raider, coming off his best season as a pro.
Stays there.
The San Diego Chargers. I mean the LA Chargers. My bad.
I'm gonna go Kansas City. Mikael Hardman.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Stays there.
Does Green Bay have enough money to sign him?
No.
Maybe.
Miami.
No.
Miami.
I think if we don't get Juju, I think Mikael Hardman will be a Bear. Marvin Jones.
He better not be y'all number one.
He comes to Chicago.
I actually like that for Marvin Jones to come to Chicago, be a third
Kansas
wide
City.
receiver.
Kansas City. I think he's made a lot of money. He's played on some bad teams. I think he wants to go.
I actually go Marvin Jones, Chicago. Alan Lazard, Chicago. I like both of those guys going to Chicago. You got a lot of money.
Alan Lazard, I think Alan Lazard fits.
Veteran wideouts.
I think Alan Lazard fits the scheme better because he's a hell of a blocking wide receiver. Like he's one of the when it comes to blocking, he's one of the best wide receivers to do it in the league right now. When it just comes to blocking, like all the other stuff, yeah, that needs to be worked on. But Marvin Jones, I don't think they're gonna ask Justin Fields to run for 1,100 yards again. This
you need somebody to take the top off the defense.
Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones.
I'm going Kansas City. Olamide Zaccheaus, currently with the Atlanta Falcons.
He stays in
Atlanta. LA Rams.
I don't hate that.
LA Rams.
I like that too. I'll go Rams too. Nelson Aguilar, but it's like 15 in 5 years.
He goes out. Now that seems like a LA Ram grab.
Right, I was gonna say.
Yeah. And then finally, Noah Brown.
Poor Charger.
He stays in Dallas.
Noah Brown. What's he? Yeah.
I think he stays in Dallas too.
He stays in
Moving
Dallas.
on from wide receivers, let's talk about the running backs. The top two names on the list have already been franchise tagged: Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. We got Miles Sanders, Devin Singletary, Kareem Hunt, Jeff Wilson Jr., Darrell Henderson, Jamal Williams, Deontay Foreman, and Rashad Penny. And I do believe David Montgomery is a free agent as well, but I did not see his name on any of the lists. So I don't know for sure if he's a free agent or not.
He either has 1 year left or I don't know. Like that's weird because I'm pretty sure he's a free agent because he was a third round draft pick, so his contract ain't as long as some of these other guys.
But I could have sworn they extended him like before at some point after his first or second season. Because every list I've been trying to find. Oh, Dave Montgomery is a free agent. He should be on this list. And
right.
Let's talk. And if we're talking about the most interesting running backs on the list, it's Dave Montgomery. He's a 3-down back. He can do a little bit of everything. The dude's awesome. So he's the most interesting running back that's going to be a free agent who could make a real difference on a team that wants to contend and needs a running back.
Oh, absolutely.
He's expendable. He's expendable too because you got Khalil Herbert there. I know Khalil Herbert had that injury though last season.
He ain't expendable because Khalil Herbert, when it came to like pass blocking, Khalil Herbert got blown up every single time. Like that's the one thing. That's the one thing Khalil Herbert has to work on, and catching out of the backfield. Like David Montgomery.
Sorry, Rashad Penny, you got bumped from the list.
Oh man, I think for me, most interesting guy on the list, maybe like Kareem Hunt, right? Because he's been behind the shadows of Nick Chubb.
Kareem Hunt has been visibly frustrated for the last 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. So I think like Kareem Hunt, if he wants to be, I think he still has the ability to be that number one guy in your backfield, in my opinion, just based on the touches last season. Like in terms of, I hate to bring it up fantasy while TJ's on the show, but when he was like, getting those touches, man, he was very effective. So I think Kareem Hunt is very interesting in my opinion here. And that's fair. That's fair. If you have to, I guarantee if you had to ask the people who would you rather have between Kareem Hunt and like David Montgomery, they'd probably go Kareem Hunt. And you can't
because Kareem Hunt played on a much more high-profile football team. People that know football, David Montgomery's a better player.
It depends on who you ask. No, I'm serious.
Sure,
it might be some bias towards that because
I fully admit that there's probably some bias there. Let's talk about underrated. player on this list, or anybody that's a running back that's a free agent that maybe not be on this list. I mean, Mark Ingram's not on this list. Raheem Mostert's another guy that's not on this list. Mike Boone, running back for for the Denver Broncos. Like, who do you think is an underrated guy that's going to be a free agent at the running back position this offseason?
Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams has to be probably the most underrated. I mean, he had 1,000 yards, in the backfield and with DeAndre Swift and those guys there in Detroit. But yeah, Jamal Williams has turned into a very good back, when he has the workload and he doesn't have to be behind Aaron Jones, anymore. I mean, when he got his number called last year, he was very effective, especially near the goal line. Had great games last year. I'd have to say Jamal Williams, man, super underrated.
I'm sorry, I had to step away for a minute. What was the question? Remind me of the question.
Underrated running back on this list or off the list? I'm going to go off the list. I'm going to say Jerick McKinnon. Big part of why Kansas City was able to win the Super Bowl was because of the play of Jerick McKinnon.
On the list, I still think I'm still in yours. It's not Jerick McKinnon. It's definitely David Montgomery. David Montgomery, because he's been on bad Bears teams, he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. David Montgomery could easily behind like a top 10 offensive line. David Montgomery could easily be a 1,200-yard rusher. Easily. He can give you 1,200 yards with like 400 to 500-yard receiving yards, and he can give you a grand total of. I'm gonna get him. He can give you anywhere from like 8 to 12 combined touchdowns, running and receiving. He's just been on bad Bears teams, and that's what it is.
All right, rapid fire. Let's go through the list. Where do these players end up? Miles Sanders.
Where's he at now? Philly?
Philadelphia.
He stays in Philly.
I do not think he's going to stay in Philadelphia. I do not think they can afford to keep him. I'm going to go and say he's going to end up in Tampa Bay because they have cap space now because they got rid of Leonard Fournette. Devin Singletary.
Stays in Buffalo.
With James White.
James Cook.
Yeah, I'll stay.
James White. It's rolling back the clock.
Not James White. Was it James Cook? James Cook. I'm over there, James White. Godly. Yeah, I'm gonna say Buffalo. I'm gonna say he stays in Buffalo as well.
I say he stays in the division, but a different team. I think he ends up at Miami. Kareem Hunt.
Houston. No, not Houston.
I was gonna say Houston, bro.
I think
anywhere where he can be. Carolina.
Whoa,
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I'll go Carolina too. Jeff Wilson Jr.
Are he in Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say he could stay in Miami. Actually, who do you have him or Ryan Mostert? Do you keep Ryan Mostert?
Like it seems to be like they only fit in like two kinds.
I'm also saying he's gonna stay in Miami.
Yeah, he's gonna stay in Miami.
Darrell Henderson, who got released midseason and never got picked back up. He's a free agent. He was a Los Angeles Ram.
Does it matter?
I mean, take a guess. Where do you think he's going to play?
He'll be a Vegas Raider.
I agree with that. Jamal Williams basically kept the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs single-handedly.
He's saying
Detroit will be stupid if they don't re-sign Jamal Williams. They'd be stupid dumb if they don't re-sign him.
They'd be absolutely dumb.
Totally agree. I think he's going to end up in Detroit. Deontay Foreman, who came on real strong there at the end for the Carolina Panthers, was basically riding the pine until they got the call from them.
He becomes a New Orleans Saint.
Yeah, that's what's up right there.
We don't know Alvin Kamara's suspension. They need another running back. I know
he's going to be out 6 games at least.
Yeah, at least. We don't know what Mark Ingram's old. He can't carry the whole, whatever. Deontay Foreman. Give me that.
I agree with that. Finally, David Montgomery.
Chicago.
Buffalo.
That's just me being biased. I just don't want to see him go.
Man, oh my gosh. My rate of teams could use him. I want to say like New England has a crowded backfield, but if a myriad, I'm saying like
there's literally not a team in the NFL that couldn't use a David Montgomery. He's a
that's what I'm saying. Like even if New England has that crowded backfield, like he's better than all the running backs.
Well, Damien
Harris, I'm gonna go New England.
Damien Harris is a free agent, so he could potentially walk too. So they
could go New England.
From running backs, let's talk about the tight end position. Bobby Schultz's cousin, Dalton Schultz, number 1. Mike Gesicki, 2. 3, Irv Smith Jr. Evan Ingram already got tagged by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Big Bob Tunyon rounding up the top 5. Austin Hooper, Hayden Hurst, Jordan Akins, who played. What? Whatever, man. Jordan Akins, who played for the Houston Texans last season. OJ Howard, who I have no idea who he played for last season. And then Mercedes Lewis, who played for the Green Bay Packers, who probably will hang him up, but maybe not. Who knows?
We're not calling him Big Bob Tanya no more. I'm sorry.
The most interesting name on the list
is
Mike Gesicki, baby.
It's between the top 3. It's between the top 3. It's Dalton Schultz, Gesicki, like I know you can make the argument for Mike Gesicki because Davis, like, the Dolphins didn't use him. Like, go somewhere where you're going to get used.
Man, I'm telling you, they did not use him very much.
Chicago, but anyway,
if the Packers can't get the tight end that I want in the draft, Michael Mayer, I would love for them to get a Mike Gesicki on that team.
Yeah, I mean, he's crazy athletic. He can really play.
Like real talk. If Rodgers is coming back through that door, the last thing y'all need is another rookie. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being real, bro.
But I also think an interesting name on this list is Irv Smith Jr. Super athletic, has a bunch of intangibles. Got hurt the MCL at one point. I think it was a couple seasons ago. Never played and never really recovered. And then he kind of lost his job to Tyler Conklin and
wait, who'd you say?
T.J. Hawkinson, Irv Smith Jr.
Oh yeah.
Irv Smith Jr. New England.
He just never.
Let's go through the list real quick. Dalton Schultz. Who do you think he's going to play for next season?
Dallas.
It's hard to see Jerry lose one of his kids.
I think Dallas. I'm surprised they actually didn't franchise tag him. Mike Gesicki.
Chicago. Can you imagine a 1-2 punch at the tight end position?
I'm actually gonna go Green Bay. I'm gonna go Green Bay. Come on, Green Bay. Let me get Mike Gesicki, man. Let me get him.
New Orleans.
That'd be nasty.
New Orleans. Irv Smith Jr.
New England.
Yeah.
I'll go New England too. I think the Jonas Smith experiment hasn't really worked out. Hunter Henry's getting up there in age. Give me Irv Smith Jr. Big Bob Tunyon.
Free agent.
Who cares? He can't play.
He resigns.
Done with him.
Austin
Arizona.
Hooper.
No, Robert Tyan, Arizona. Austin Hooper. Go to the Colts.
Atlanta.
Go to the Colts.
Hayden Hurst.
I was gonna say Atlanta too. Going back to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Hayden
Hurst
stays in Cincy.
Stays in Cincinnati. He's too good there.
I think he's priced himself out of Cincinnati's price range. I think so. I'll go Indianapolis. Jordan Akins. If anyone cares where he plays next season. There's 3 guys. I mean, Mercedes Lewis, OJ Howard, both those guys. I don't know.
Mercedes Lewis is Green Bay is like a staple in Green Bay. It'd be hard for me to say.
He's only been there for like 3 years. If you talked about it being a staple in Jacksonville, sure.
No. I mean, to Packer fans, he's been there for a hot minute. I mean, when I look at Mercedes Lewis, like the Packers, like the Packers faithful love Mercedes Lewis. He's a great blocking tight end.
Wasn't he the one that caught the pass against Dallas?
He's a great blocking tight end. He's a good veteran leader.
No, wasn't he the one that caught that pass against Dallas?
I was wrong. Yeah, played there. He's been there 5 seasons.
Yeah, that's
all right. All right. I mean, he's 38 years old.
I think
he's gonna be 39.
I think Mercedes Lewis has a niche. I think if Rodgers is there,
I think he
Rodgers
retired.
just like pushes.
I
Yeah.
think
That's what I
retired.
said. He either retires if Rodgers comes back to Green Bay. I think he'll stay in Green Bay. But other than that, I think he retires. I think he's out of there.
Jordan Akins
Oh.
probably stays with the Houston Texans. I don't have a clue where.
Or maybe he wants to go be. Or maybe he signs like a small like a minimum deal in Kansas City or even
in Jacksonville, maybe,
or in
like,
Philly or something, or Jackson. Yeah, or it comes back to Jacksonville because now they're a playoff team. I think he wants to go to a contender. I think Mercedes Lewis wants to probably win a Super Bowl ring his next season. So
I agree
he
with
looks
you.
for one of those teams. Yeah.
To the offensive line, we got some good names there. Alton Jenkins, Orlando Brown Jr., Jack Conklin, Taylor Lewan, Jason
Jenkins
Kelsey,
is
Donovan
tagged.
Smith. I will put the next to him then. Donovan Smith, Connor McGovern, Roger Scaffold, George Fant, and then Dalton Risner, who played for the Denver
Reisner.
Broncos last year. Reisner, thank you. Most interesting name on the list and underrated name.
Most interesting name is Orlando Brown Jr. That is one of the premier left tackles in the game. You're going to let him walk. You're not going to tag him again. You're going to let him walk. Like, did he really price himself out of your budget that fast?
I mean, kind of. I mean, we went through their offseason preview. They're pretty cap strong right now. But yeah, I agree with you. He's probably the premier left tackle. He's the premier free agent potentially in this class too. I mean, there aren't that many really big household names at any of the offensive positions. He might be the best offensive free agent in this class.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure that's
close.
That bold. Like,
that's all pro. That's an all pro left tackle right there. Like, he got traded out of Baltimore for the simple fact that I'm not a right tackle, I'm a left tackle, and he wanted left tackle money. Not to mention the Ravens also have what's his name, Ronnie Staley, and Ronnie Staley ain't going nowhere no time soon. So
they just paid him too. Yeah, he's the most interesting name on this list. I also think that Jason Kelsey probably will not go anywhere else. He'll probably be in Philadelphia or retire.
I think he retires.
Let's go through the list. Who do you think was rapid fire? Because the offensive lineman. Orlando Brown Jr., where do you think he ends up?
Chicago.
Is that biased or is that real?
No, that's real.
No, Chicago got a lot of damn money. They signing a lot of these people, man.
That's real.
Okay.
I actually think I'm gonna agree with you. Alton Jenkins obviously got tagged by the Green Bay Packers.
I like Larry Borum. I really do. For him to be not Larry Borum, Braxton Jones. I like Braxton Jones. For him to be a 6th-round draft pick, and for him, like, when you look at the Bears' offensive line, as bad as it was, the guy that had the highest grade consistently the whole season was Braxton Jones.
Orlando Brown.
But he ain't Orlando Brown Jr.
City, right? He's in Kansas City, correct? Yeah. He's in Kansas City. Yeah, he stays in Kansas City.
No, bro.
Jack Conklin, who at one time was a top 5 right tackle in the National Football League, ended up being a cap casualty for the Cleveland Browns. Where does he end up?
It's a contingency plan. You don't get Orlando Brown Jr., you go get Jack Conklin.
I think he ends up in Pittsburgh.
Oh yes, they need that. They need that.
They do need some tackles, man.
Matter of fact, Jack Conklin go to Pittsburgh and Taylor Lewan go to Pittsburgh. I think
reunite them, man. Reunited, it feels so good, right? I'm actually going to agree with you. I think they both end up in Pittsburgh. Jack Conklin and Tyler Lewan. Jason Kelsey going to be in Philadelphia, retired. Donovan Smith was not particularly good this past season at the right tackle position for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Where does he play next year?
I think they kicked the tires on him again in Tampa Bay.
I agree with you. I think there's nowhere to replace him. They don't have a lot of money, so I think they're going to be forced to basically resign their guys. Connor McGovern, former New York Jet, at the center position.
I think he stays in Dallas. Wait, no, he's not there no more, right?
Yeah, he was a Jet this past season.
Yeah, he's a Jet.
I think he stayed there too.
I think so too. I don't think you can let that guy walk.
He's too important to what you guys are trying to build there. I mean, you need an offensive line, man, to whatever you're going to bring in there next season. So
Roger Saffold, guard, played for the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo has come on, bro. Y'all can't.
They better not.
Yeah, they better not. George
They
Font
better not.
was the right tackle for majority of this past season for the New York Jets.
Buffalo.
I'm going to agree with you. I think he does end up in Buffalo as well. They find a way to get that guy.
New York Giants.
And then Dalton. I think he's a guard, left guard for
Buffalo.
No, Denver Broncos.
Buffalo.
I think he stays in Denver. I think you can't not what was already a weakness of your roster of the offensive line. I don't think you can make it weaker. So
Buffalo.
Denver, I agree with you, man.
from the offensive side, we switch over to the defense. Let's talk about the defensive tackles. We got some good names on this list, that's for sure. It's headlined by two New York Philadelphia Eagles, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Michael Brockers, Dalvin Tomlinson, Jared Tillery, Sheldon Rankins, Linval Joseph, Taven Bryant, Jonathan Hankins, and Ndamukong Suh. Most interesting name on the list, gentlemen.
Ndamukong Suh, because it's like what's the plan? You can retire. Like there's a myriad of teams that can use Ndamukong Suh, or he can just flat out retire. Like it's like seriously, I think he's found his role as like his new niche as like I'm not the premier D tackle anymore. I'm definitely the rotation guy. Like I'm the guy that comes in with the second unit. And just because I'm with the second unit, you still got to remember that my name is Ndamukong Suh. Like I may not move like I used
He's
to.
basically become a mercenary for hire. If you have a team that's capable of winning a Super Bowl, you bring in Ndamukong Suh to be your defensive tackle and be like a backup defensive tackle. For me, it's Javon Hargrave. Probably one of the most impactful defensive tackles in the league last year. With it was 12 and a half sacks or something crazy number, over 10 sacks. He is the most interesting name on this list by far.
Yeah, Deron Payne got tagged, so I was I was upset, but also not surprised because I wanted the Bears to get that dude so bad. But I'm like, when they dropped the hey, we're tagging him, I'm like, yeah, not surprised, but still, what the hell? So I'm pretty sure the Bears have identified Javon Hargrave as the primary target on defense. So I'm gonna kick this off with the rapid fire with Javon Hargrave coming to Chicago.
And Dallas. He's definitely the most interesting name on this list.
He ends up in Dallas. He ends up in Dallas.
Philly faithful gonna hate him for doing that, but Philly's got to find a way to keep him. He's like,
I agree, but I don't think they're gonna be able to afford it.
They have to find a way to keep
him.
No,
they don't.
But I agree with you though, TJ. I think he can end up in Chicago. They got a lot of money to throw at a lot of guys. They didn't get Deron Payne. They really wanted him. I think Javon Hargrave is a guy that
a lot of people wanted Deron Payne, but you also got to understand that he's going to get tagged. Like Deron Payne was probably going to get tagged. He did get tagged, but Javon Hargrave
he'll go to Dallas and make one of the most formidable defensive lines in the history of the league. Fletcher Cox
retired.
I think he stays in Philadelphia one more season.
I was going to say, man. I think, yeah. I mean, he's got a ring already. I think he retires as well. I think he's done.
Michael Brocker spent his last season, I believe, in Los Angeles. Please correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I believe he was in Los Angeles this past season. No, I was wrong. He was in Detroit. He was actually part of the Jared Goff. He was he was included in the Jared Goff trade. That's Matthew Stafford to LA. Where does he play next season?
I think he stays in Detroit.
I agree with you on that. I think he played 125 snaps last season. I think they need to keep him. Although he did not record a single sack. Actually, I actually think he ends up, I don't know, in Indy. I'm going to say Indy. Dalvin Tomlinson.
Where's he at?
He's in Minnesota. Tackle for the Minnesota. Played 530 snaps for the Minnesota Vikings last season. Total 3 sacks.
Hey. It might be a change of place.
Big boy. Nose tackle.
I'm going to go with, I think he's going to end up as a Charger. I think they need to show up their running game. I think Dalvin Tomlinson is a good way to do that.
It is.
Man, how much money does Baltimore have?
Not enough.
They got money. If they can think what they do with it.
They can move some things around.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a way. From there, Jared Tillery,
Dallas.
Played in Las Vegas last season. Played 448 snaps. Only recorded 1 sack.
Dallas. That's a tackles. That's a Dallas move.
I think he stays in Las Vegas. Moving on from Jared Tillery, let's talk about Sheldon Rankins. Was a New York Jet last season. 3 sacks. Played for over 520 snaps.
That's also a Dallas move.
I'm going to say he stays in New York too. Linval Joseph was he brought him in towards the end of the season. He played for Philadelphia. played 177 snaps. He played in 8 games for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was unsigned up until that point. I think that he's going to do something similar this season. I think he's just going to sit on the sidelines and wait for somebody to give yeah.
Yeah, contender. Yeah, I agree.
Taven Bryant, who played his most recent season in Cleveland. He was a 5-year veteran over there in Jacksonville. Played 593 snaps last season. Had recorded 3 sacks.
Who was this?
Taven Bryant.
Taven Bryant.
I think he stays there.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I think he's in Cleveland too.
Stays or goes to Pittsburgh.
Ooh.
And then the final 2 names on the list: Jonathan Hankins. Jonathan Hankins played for the Dallas Cowboys last season. Did not record a single sack and played 230 snaps for them. I believe he was traded to the Dallas Cowboys at the deadline, but don't quote me on that.
Honestly, I don't really care. And Dominican Sue signs with a contender. He signs with a contender. And I think he either like does the same thing Linval Joseph does.
I think
they're probably both a package.
I think Jonathan Hankins ends up as a Bear. And then Dominican Sue, I think, he waits until see how the landscape of the NFL plays out, and he signs with a contender.
I guarantee I won't be surprised, David. I won't be surprised if him and Linval Joseph sign with the same contending team next year.
I agree with you. I think that could happen. From there, we go to the edge rushers. Not as much of the good names as it was on the other list, but some solid guys here. We got Poona Ford, played for the Seattle Seahawks. Marcus Davenport, who was a very high draft pick and never really panned out. Robert Quinn, Ashawn Robinson, Yannick Ngakoue, Javion Clowney, Frank Clark, Brandon Graham, who was released, I think, by the Philadelphia Eagles, or he's just a free agent. Jordan Phillips, Buffalo Bills. Keem Hicks, I guess, is a defensive end. That's what they have him listed as. He was in Tampa Bay last season. Most interesting name on the list.
Oh man. It's got to be Yannick Ngakoue. He's like the youngest. Frank Clark. Well, yeah, Frank Clark's nice too, but I gotta say, Yannick Ngakoue, man, so young. He's all these guys. Probably the youngest guy on this list.
He's 20. He's 27. He's the exact same age. Well, I guess I don't know when their birthdays are, but
younger.
Yes, Poona Ford is 27, so he's a little bit younger than Yannick Ngakoue and Ashawn Robinson.
Okay.
But the most interesting name on the list is for sure Yannick Ngakoue. He's the most productive player on this list outside of Brandon Graham. Everywhere that Yannick Ngakoue has gone, he gives you like a 10+ sack season. He's bounced around the league a lot the last couple of years. Minnesota, Baltimore, Las Vegas, and then Indy this most recent season, all 10+ sack seasons.
That's more or less due to like I don't know if he's getting along with, I don't know if he likes a scheme that he likes. He's getting along with the coaches, but he's definitely a talent. I would say, man, this guy, he's probably like out of these guys has the most upside, in my opinion, as a pass rusher. In my opinion, out of the top 5 guys that we're looking at right now. Jadeveon Clowney, we already know what he is. He's not going to rush the passer. He's going to stop the run.
He's a run stopper.
Yeah, run stopper. So, and then I like Frank Clark though, TJ, that you said is most interesting guy here. On the list, to you, because
700 snaps last season, 5 sacks.
But he's a leader on your team. He's a catalyst of a Super Bowl defense, along with like Chris Jones and those guys. So, Frank Clark's a guy that could come on to a contender, and he can lead a defense. From the edge rush position. So,
yeah, I agree with you. It's a rapid fire.
Good locker room guy.
Where do you think these guys end up signing? Poona Ford, former with the Seattle Seahawks, pretty young.
Hard to see him anywhere else. I think Seattle keeps him.
I agree. He was very productive for them this past season. One of the names is kind of an enigma here, Marcus Davenport. Where do you think he ends up as kind of a restart of his career, really?
All those injuries, man, that he's had, man. Godly.
He's the youngest
guy on this
list, actually.
Yeah. No, I was just looking at it. Yeah, he is younger. He's younger than those other guys. I'll go Dallas.
I think New Orleans gives him one more shot at this. I think he stays with New Orleans. Yeah, I think you use a first-round pick on a guy. You hope he pans out. I think they want to roll the dice one more season with him. TJ.
Chicago.
Robert Quinn, after getting traded to Philadelphia Eagles, he is now a free agent. Where do you see Robert Quinn playing next season?
Green Bay.
I actually agree with you. I think he could end up in Green Bay.
KC.
I could also see that as well. As somebody at the near end of his career wants to get a title, wants to get a ring. Ashawn Robinson, most recent with the Los Angeles Rams. They probably don't have the cap room to keep him. Also, he wasn't all that effective this most recent season. I think he will also end up in Kansas City.
What was that?
Ashawn Robinson.
Rams. Go back. What state? Where's he at? Where was he at last season?
The Rams.
Stay there.
Rams. Yeah, I was gonna say. I think he'll stay at Ram.
Yannick Ngakoue played with the Indianapolis Colts this most recent season. Where does he play this year?
Chicago.
I'm going to say New England. I give them a 1-2 punch of him and Matthew Judon. I think that's pretty nasty.
We gotta find a 3-4 defense for him, right? So let's find a good one. Let's find the scheme maker in Bill Belichick. Yeah, I think he ends up in New England as well, David.
No, real talk. If I'm Yannick Ngakoue, it's either Chicago or it's Arizona.
Oh, all right. Jadeveon Clowney, I think he ends up as a Los Angeles Charger. They really struggle with stopping the run. You plug in Clowney, problem solved.
Also, like you need depth. I mean, and you don't know what Godly, what's his name? The Bosa brother, the older Bosa brother. How his health is from last year. Yeah, Joey Bosa. Also, you got Khalil Mack. We don't know. What Khalil Mack, is gonna. How is he still on contract there in LA?
Yeah. Yep.
Or
he's still
on contract there.
Yep.
So you're gonna need some some backups there. You're gonna need some guys that come off the bench there. So like that Jadeveon Clowney one in LA.
Let's move a little bit faster here. Let's go. Frank Clark was originally the Kansas City Chiefs released to save some money at the cap space. Where does he go?
Where the money go? Where's the money?
Buffalo. Chicago.
Tennessee.
Buffalo.
They just released Bud Dupree earlier today or yesterday. I'll go Tennessee. Brandon Graham.
Buffalo.
I think Philadelphia finds a way to resign
Stays
him.
in Philly.
Jordan Phillips.
Green Bay, baby.
Most recent with the Buffalo Bills. I think he also ends up in Las Vegas, especially if they don't replace. They need somebody. Max Crosby.
Next to yeah.
Chandler Jones hasn't really worked out as a Raider. Akeem Hicks.
Retired.
Definitely should retire. But if not, man, hey, the Bears should bring him back just on a 1-year deal, just to see if they can catch lightning in the bottle with him.
No, I think he ends up.
Or go back to New York, or go back to the Giants.
I like that, actually. I like that too. And then we got two more positions. Let's talk about the linebackers. There's Tremaine Edmonds, Deion Jones, Levante David, Devin Bush, Rashad Evans, who seems to be a free agent every season, TJ Edwards, who had a really good season for the Philadelphia Eagles, Bobby Okereke, Cole Holcomb, Alshire, and Bud Dupree, who just got released today. Most interesting name on the list, and where do we think these guys are going to end up?
Dupree.
I think the most interesting name on this list is Alshire. He was a really good linebacker there in the San Francisco 49ers, arguably one of the best linebacking corps in the NFL with those three guys there. He is the most interesting name on this list outside of TJ Edwards, who's also a very interesting name.
Right. So I was gonna go that TJ Edwards, man. He's the reason why Godly, their third rounder didn't play. The kid from Nakobe Dean didn't really get a lot of time on the field because TJ Edwards is so damn good. He's definitely earned some good money, this offseason. I don't know if Philly wants to bring him back. I think they say, hey, you know what, we got Nakobe Dean there. We're gonna let him go, instead. But I'd be surprised if he, doesn't get. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get re-signed from Philly, but he definitely earned some dough this year.
TJ?
Devin Bush. Devin Bush caught a lot of hell from a Buccaneer player who shall not be named. I'm just playing. It's what's his name? It's Warren Sapp. He called out Devin Bush a lot this past season, Talking about some, you wear the captaincy on your chest and you get like, bro, shut up. Like, if you play football long enough, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get blocked into oblivion. I'm like, you weren't this immovable object either, Warren Sapp. Like, I'm pretty sure you got put on your ass a couple times too. It happens. Play football long enough, it'll happen. But it's Devin Bush. It's
definitely during his Raider days, he was getting his
put on his ass.
his clock clean,
All right.
son. But
Rapid fire. Let's talk about where these guys end up. Edmonds.
Chicago. No, I'm just playing. He stays there.
I think he stays with the Buffalo
he stays in
Bills.
Buffalo. Yeah.
Deion Jones
At
currently
Atlanta.
plays for the Cleveland Browns. 28 years old. 3 sacks this most recent season.
Rams.
Ooh.
I'm actually
Let me
going to
go Rams.
I'm going to go Bears for Deion Jones. Levante David.
How old is Levante David?
Levante
He
David
needs
is
to go to-
33 years old. Played
He's got one
1,000
more shot at
snaps
it.
last. I'm going to go San Francisco. I think if they lose Alshire, I think Levante David comes in as
He'll be perfect next to my man's over there.
Yeah, so Levante he ends up in San
Imagine.
Francisco.
I don't hate that.
Cincinnati.
Devin Bush.
Cincinnati, Chicago. No, I'm just playing.
Devin
no,
Bush resigns
no.
in Pittsburgh. I don't think they let him go.
Chicago. Not that I said the wrong. I was talking about the wrong dude. Yeah, Devin Bush. No, yeah, Chicago.
Pittsburgh. Rayshawn Evans.
Back to Tennessee.
I'll go Dallas. If they're going to lose Leighton Vander Esch, I think they're going to need another linebacker. So he could be.
I don't think they're gonna
and Anthony Barr is a free agent for them as well. I think they need to replace him. I'll go Dallas. T.J. Edwards.
He's earned some dough, man.
Miami.
I'm gonna go Indy.
Arizona. I think they need to shore up that defense. He makes sense there. Bobby Okereke. Played his most recent season in Indianapolis, if you didn't know.
Okereke in Chicago. That for sure. Like that's realistic. I'm so serious. That is
Yeah,
realistic.
his former coach.
That is like it's not just that. That's where all the talk is. Like, if they get rid of him, if Okereke becomes a free agent, Chicago is like probably one of like his top 2 teams. I'm
gonna go Chicago too.
Okereke. It's Okereke.
Okereke, man. You know what?
I
You know what?
tried.
Let's go Minnesota.
Why you want us to be bad, bro? Like why?
And then
Y'all gonna sign
Alshire.
some guys. I'm just saying.
Alshire, does he leave?
How you just gonna skip
Hell
over
no.
Cole?
Don't be stupid if they
How
let
you
him
just-
go.
How
Why
you
you
just gonna
letting him
skip
go
over
for?
Cole Holcomb like that?
My bad. Cole Holcomb. Where do you think Cole Holcomb's
How
gonna
you
play?
just gonna skip over Cole Holcomb like that, bro? He's the Washington.
I will say he goes to Washington. I'm not 100% sure what team Cole Holcomb plays on right now.
I'm looking him up right now.
Washington. He played on the Commanders. Yeah.
Go to the Commanders, baby.
And then Alshire. All right.
He's staying a Niner. No reason to let him go.
He stays a Niner. Hey man, free agency ain't about being good. It's about being free.
Getting that money.
Houston. He go to Houston.
I will also say Houston as well. You know, his defensive coordinator's there. I think he ends up in Houston.
That's
He builds
true.
up
I like
defense.
that.
So, Bud
I like that.
Dupree.
I like
Bud
that.
Dupree.
Bud
Who did he get
Dupree.
released from again?
Tennessee. I think he goes back to
Tennessee?
Pittsburgh, where he has
Green
most
Bay.
productive.
I was gonna say
Green Bay.
Pittsburgh,
Nah, I think he go to Green Bay.
but
Yes.
he'd be beautiful in Green Bay because we need guys to play behind Rashawn.
And then
Gary
this
and
defensive
Preston.
back free agent class is pretty loaded with James Bradbury, Marcus Peters, Jesse Bates III, Jordan Poyer, Von Bell, Jimmy Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, Bradley Roby, Adrian Omos, and Jonathan Jones, who plays for the New England Patriots. Most interesting name on the list, gentlemen.
Probably between Bates and Poyer. And Jimmy Ward.
I think it's James Bradbury. I think he's the best player on the list.
Is that? I don't think he's better than Jesse Bates. I don't think he's better than Jesse Bates.
Okay, I mean,
Bradbury,
I think it's close. I mean,
Bradbury better than Jesse. Bradbury better than Jesse Bates. Why you eating that sushi roll? That California sushi roll?
Hell no, James Bradbury isn't better than Jesse Bates. No.
Thank you. It's Jesse Bates.
I like James. I like James Bradbury's versatility. I think he can play a little safety. He can play nickel. He can play outside. But Jesse Bates, I think, is young. He's just the man out there, man.
It's Jesse
He's
Bates.
the man with the plan out there. It's Jesse Bates. My most interesting guy. I'm gonna stay with our alma mater and Jimmy Ward from the San Francisco 49ers. He's a guy that can be a great contributor to a contending team. I think he stays in San Francisco. I also started out like that. But Jimmy Ward is very interesting to me because if he goes to the right team, I mean, if he ends up, let's say, like Cincinnati, like I wouldn't say Cincinnati, but just any contending team, I mean, that vaults their defense, you know, especially in the back end. And he could do so much there for any defense. So Jimmy Ward's my guy.
all right, let's go through the list. This is James Bradbury. Where do you think he's going to play next season?
I think he stays there. I think he stays in Philly.
I think they find a way to get that done. I think he stays in Philadelphia as well.
He stays there. Yep.
Marcus Peters, who was one time one of the best ball hawking corners in the NFL. Injuries have really taken a toll on what was potentially could have been a Hall of Fame career. Probably won't be now.
Retire.
Hell no.
No. I understand. Like you want to win. You want to do all that stuff. But bro, at the end of the day, if you are too beat up, if you can't even stay on the field, if it's 17 games, I'm getting 6 games out of you. You better off staying on your couch, man. I'm serious.
He played 13 games this most recent season. So,
and what was the impact?
I'm gonna go with this one. Marcus Peters. He looks over there. He stays in the Northeast. I'm going Marcus Peters. Jets. Jets. Let's go.
I don't hate that either. Jesse Bates the third.
Chicago. Moving to free city.
He's been linked to Cleveland. I think he ends up in Cleveland.
Chicago. Can you imagine the safety duo of him and Jaquan Brisker? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's been nice.
Oh my God.
I mean, we still have.
TJ's having fun over here. TJ has every top 3 guy going to Chicago.
Jordan Poyer.
No, that's not true.
Jordan Poyer. Jordan Poyer.
Buffalo. I think he stays there.
I think he stays in Buffalo as well. Von Bell.
Where he at right now? He in Cincinnati, right?
Cincinnati, yes. He's the running back with Jesse Bates.
There's no way they lose both of those two dudes. They can't afford to lose both of them. I wholeheartedly believe if they whichever one they keep, they lose the other.
I think Von Bell ends up in Cincinnati. I think they keep him. I find a way to make it done, get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jimmy Ward.
San Fran.
You better stay a 49er.
Yeah, I think they try to capitalize keeping him in San Francisco.
If he don't stay in San Fran, I could see him being an LA Charger.
I could also see that as well.
I can see.
He could even end up in Houston, running mate with
with Nico Ryan. Yep, yeah. Derek Stingley. Oh man, oh my gosh. But see, Houston's just not ready. I think Jimmy's he wants to get that ring. You know, he's already been to a Super Bowl. He wants to get that ring. He's so close. I think he's
Emmanuel Mosley.
I legit think San Fran is. I wholeheartedly don't expect them to lose a lot of people, if any. For that simple fact, it's like they're so close. They've been so close for so many years, and it's like we keep kicking down the damn door, and we kick it open. But it's a Debo, literally, it's a whole Debo standing in the door, not letting us in. Like we can kick the door open, but we can't get in. Emmanuel Mosley, where is he at right now? Well, who do you guys think?
San Francisco.
See, I don't see them going anywhere, bro. Like I don't.
I mean, you're really close. I think he stays in San Francisco as well. To Bradley Roby, who was on the New Orleans Saints last season, if that's correct. Hold on, let me double check that.
I'll be confusing him with Nikhil Roby-Coleman.
He was in New Orleans last season.
Bradley
Roby played in New Orleans this past season.
He stays there. I think he stays.
I think so as well. I think they need to keep some of their guys. He played a lot of snaps for them last season. To Adrian Omos, who's the Green Bay Packer right now.
Man, I hope we keep him. I hope Green Bay keeps him. But I could very well see him as going back to Chicago if they can't get Jesse Bates. If they can't get all these other guys, I think he go back to Chicago.
That's Houston.
I'm gonna say he stays in Green Bay, and then the final name on the list, as we've done our free agent preview, Jonathan Jones, cornerback, New England Patriots, who's way older than I thought he was. He's 20. He's 29. I thought he was like a really young player, but I guess not.
I'm 29. Cleveland. No. Yeah.
I think if you're New England, you got to keep your strengths. I think you try to keep this guy. I think he stays in New England.
You got to keep your strength.
I think I say New England, but man, I mean, he's he was good the first half of the season. Once he moved, once that second half came, they was torching him a little bit, on the outside. So, they got to do something about, he's getting up there in age, might move him back into the inside corner, inside. Or
I mean, they could. Devin McCourty's probably going to retire. They could potentially play him at safety.
Something like that. But yeah, I could see them keeping him. I mean, New England's got a stellar defense. I mean, why would you want to get rid of? All you have to do is add a couple more pieces.
They also got
offense right. You're back in it.
They also got to
figure out the offense. So
no, they really got to figure out what the hell Marcus Jones is. Is he a corner? Is he a receiver? Is like what is he?
I mean, he's be a gadget. He can be a gadget. Use him all over the place. But yeah, this has been Prime Sports World NFL Free Agency Preview. Thank you very much for joining us. We have previewed all the major positions in the NFL. Let us know what you think about our takes on who we think players are going to go where. As NFL Free Agency is on Monday. It starts on Monday. So keep an eye out for that content as we're going to be breaking down everything going on in the offseason. I'm David Huppman. Right there is Israel Rivera. Right there is Mr. TJ Hopkins. Please like, share, subscribe. Check us out on our streaming platforms. The link is in the chat. And gentlemen, what we do here at the Prime, my friends.
We eat California tuna rolls.
No, the California sushi rolls. I don't mess with them tuna rolls over there.
I'm about to go eat some dinner. I'm about to go eat some dinner because I'm hungry and I'm tired. I will see you guys all tomorrow. I don't remember what we're doing show wise tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace out, guys.